meeting of the Waterford Town Board. As we start each of our meeting, I'd like to invite each of you to join me as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Sit, stand, whatever your preference is. I realize that people are at home. I always tend to stand for that, but I don't want anybody to feel like they have to. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will follow that with a brief prayer from our honorary councilman, David Ball. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic
For
which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
liberty,
liberty, and justice for all.
So let us give us a moment of prayer. Father, we ask your blessing on these proceedings tonight. Please guide us with wisdom and discernment as we conduct the people's business. We ask your blessing on the farmers as they enter the fields this spring to plant their crops and sustain us with their bounty in the fall. We pray that they have a good planting season. We pray for the students who are ending the end of this really tough school year, that they thrive towards the end and they make whatever accomplishments they have successful, and they're able to move on in their lives into their next challenges. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Dave. And with that, we will go ahead and start our meeting. Mary Shannon, you've taken attendance, I assume?
I have, yes.
Okay, we are ready to go. Are there any communications or petitions?
There are none.
All right. Copies of the town board meeting minutes of April 6th and the agenda meeting of April 27th have been distributed to the board. Are there any requests from the board for corrections, additions, or deletions? And if not, may I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Been offered and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are adopted unanimously as published. And with that, we'll move on to our committee reports. The first report today is the financial report. The supervisor's monthly cash report for the month of April. In the general account, the balance on hand is of April 1st, $83,585.81. Total receipts for the month amounted to $216,687.17. Transfer from the general savings account in the amount of $335,000. Transfer from the bond account, $28,683.58. Total disbursements in the month, $376,019.28. Transfer for debt service payments, $84,953.14. Transfer to the general savings account, $195,000. The balance on hand as of April 30th in the general account is $7,984.14. In the general savings account, the balance on hand as of April 1st, $4,177,771.01. Total receipts amounted to $92,469.31. Transfer from the general account in the amount of $195,000. Transfer to the payroll account, $217,625.05. Transfer to the general account, $335,000. Interest received on the general savings account during the month of April, $64.91, leaving us a balance on hand as of April 30th of $3,912,680.18. In the landfill savings account, the balance on hand as of April 1st was $855.24. We received 1 cent in interest during the month, giving us a balance at month end of $855.25. The petty cash report for the month of April, petty cash expenses total $64.30, and it was all for postage for the court clerk and various town hall offices. In the abstract report for the month of April, audited vouchers totaled $174,499.12. Payments made in advance of the audit, $14,220.21. Can I have a motion, please, to accept the financial report, reimburse petty cash, and to pay the abstract?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If
And
not, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Our next report this evening is the Committee on Highway, Wastewater Treatment, Water Authority, Cemetery, and Museum Operations. Councilman Jim Boudreau. Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everybody. For the month of April, 711 hours worked on general maintenance and road maintenance, trash drop off 81 hours, miscellaneous 394, garage maintenance 2, parks 317. For the month of April, the Highway Department processed 63 dig safe requests, responded to 51 requests for service, replaced 13 manhole risers and 9 manhole frames, 12 street signs replaced, 270 yards of yard waste removed, 360 yards of trash removed, 60 yards of scrap metal removed, 35 yards of mulch was used for landscaping, 8.5 tons of blacktop was used for road repair. And a reminder to all residents that the town trash drop-off is still ongoing through May 22nd at the Town Highway Garage on Saturday mornings. Any information on that needed, you can either call the town clerk's office or the Highway Garage at 235-3413. And that report was submitted by Tony Lubis, Highway Superintendent. I think Tony's way too modest with his report. Those guys have been very, very busy this month. For the wastewater department for the month, they removed 12,000 gallons of sludge to Albany County and 62,000 gallons of sludge to Saratoga County. Answered 5 alarms, four for phone issues and 1 for power. Maintenance for the month, all pump stations checked and cleaned. Continued maintenance of outside grounds, equipment, and vehicles. Removed the influent primary grease from primary tanks and weirs. The 8 team changed out the operational floats at the Suncrest Drive pump station. Used the vac truck to clean out James Drive collection manhole. Verizon repaired the Timber Drive alarm phone line coming to the plant. Troy Belting moved the temporary cellular alarm system from Sage Road to the Mallards North pump station. Used a sewer camera to aid the residents of 59 Clifton Street. Worked with Coster to inspect and install the ultraviolet disinfection system for the swimmable river season. And the wastewater department would like to remind residents to please stop dumping, flushing wipes or other non-biodegradable materials down your toilet or through your garbage disposals. All of these types of materials should be going in with your household trash. Even though they say they are flushable, they really are not. And residents are reminded not to use those things in the wastewater system. And that report was submitted by Craig Falcone, Chief Operator of the Wastewater Department. For water commissioners for the month, water consumption, Water Works delivered approximately 29,290,000 gallons of water, or 944,000 gallons per day for the month. System distribution work, staff completed dig safe utility locations and service calls. In addition to calls, calibrated and maintained equipment, completed monthly water testing, and completed meter reading. Hydrant flushing, please be advised that the Waterworks will be flushing hydrants during the late April and May in accordance with the attached schedule, which I'll read to you. And residents are encouraged to avoid doing laundry during flushing hours and to run sinks if water becomes discolored. Once again, a reminder, the commissioners now have a new website, and they're excited to announce that you can access that by www.waterfordwater.org. And the hydrant flushing for the month appears to be Hudson River, April 26th up until May 7th, Middletown Road and all side streets, May 3rd through May 14th, Fonda Road and side streets, May 10th through the 21st of May, and Northside Dial City, May 17th through the 28th. And if anybody has any questions with that, they can call the Commissioner's office at 518-237-0422. Town historian for the month has sent an interesting report as always. His history Facebook page reached over 1,500 people last month. Russ attended 2 meetings, a monthly meeting of the Saratoga County History Center and a quarterly meeting of the Saratoga County Historian's Office. He had 1 article on a Waterford Civil War soldier published on the County History Center site. He's answered 2 requests for information, one on the Butler family of Butler Park fame and another on William Neeler of Waterford, a 19th century politician and merchant, and received several pictures of interest from various sources concerning Waterford and researching the stories behind those pictures. That report was submitted by Russ Vandervoort, and no news on the library or the museum. They are still closed due to the COVID, and hopefully they'll be opening soon with the restrictions being lifted throughout the state, which is a good thing, and we'll be hearing from them soon, but I have no word on them at the moment. So that's my report for the evening.
Thank you, Jim. Our next report is the Committee on Public Safety, Emergency Services, and our liaison to the village government, Councilman Dave Ball. Dave?
Thank you, Supervisor. I want to start off this evening's remarks with just some commentary and some information. Unfortunately, regrettably, there's been a wave across the country, and we're not exempt of suicides. And for whatever reason, people are on desperate times and can't seem to find help anywhere, or just at a loss for what to do next or where to turn. But I want to, as a matter of public information, that if anybody is aware of somebody who's in need, that reach out to our local agency, the Waterford Police Department, Rescue Squad, your church, your school, your synagogue, whoever, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And there's also a national suicide prevention hotline, which is manned 24 hours a day, that anybody can call to have if they feel they need somebody to talk to. That number is 1-800-273-8255. So if you need help, if you need a friend, you need to talk to somebody to work something out, there's people there to help. So we hope you'll find it. One other bit of information: the Waterford Rescue Squad is deploying Narcan on a regular basis, as well as the police department when necessary. And they have a program of Narcan leave behind. They actually will train individuals in a residence or household how to actually use it and administer it. Should there be any, regrettably, an opportunity to use that drug again, it is very successful. Other information: the Waterford Fire Department building is progressing. It looks like June. They're on target for a June opening. And was just going around. The village is putting up the 3 existing firehouses for sale. The one's on Pearl Street in the village. The other is on Division Street. And the third one is up on Upper Division Street, adjacent to the 8th Street Playground. If you know anybody who's interested, they're all for sale. Moving on to the police department activities for the month. There were a total of 18 arrests, 73 traffic tickets were issued, and they investigated 8 motor vehicle accidents. And there was a total of 689 calls for service. In activities of the police department, commencing with training, all officers completed training on community policing and cultural awareness as part of our ongoing education program. After several complaints, a detail was conducted on 4/1/21 targeting tobacco and vape sales to minors at a local mini mart on 3rd Street. The detail resulted in the arrest of a clerk at the store and 2 counts of unlawful dealing with a child. I believe the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office also conducted its own investigation and actions on that same site, which resulted in additional charges. There is a new law which pertains to marijuana use, which is being reviewed and disseminated to all officers. We'll have more information on that, and we'll be discussing it with the board at our next monthly meeting. COVID vaccinations continue. I'm going to have Paul McInerney discuss that or mention that a little later in this meeting. But we're on target to do some more this week. In fact, Thursday, there's another clinic. We've begun implementation of programs as part of our police reform plan. At the start of the month in April, a process put into place to facilitate tracking of racial data of all people stopped by the police department on traffic stops and in field interviews that we conduct. Bike and foot patrols were also started. A total of 9 man-hours of bike and foot patrol posted were conducted. Most of these hours are spent on or in or around the 4th Street Park in response to several complaints from residents in that area about noise and unruly park attendees. Open cases, we currently have one child pornography case, one rape case, one endangering the welfare of a child case, one burglar case, and one vice case. The board also received in its package this evening a copy of the April 2021 arrest reports and also a statistical report by incident and by nature of the 689 calls. Just reviewing that report briefly, there was a total of 16 domestic incidences investigated, one arrest for driving under the influence, 18 harassment investigations, 43 EMS calls, animal controls investigations, there were 17. The police department also participated in 3 arrest warrant activities, performed 33 school details, safety districts. Also, the DARE program is currently being administered by Officer Williams. They conducted a total of 128 traffic stops, and there are 4 death investigations in the community for the month as well. That's the conclusion of my report, Supervisor.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
And Lori, you have Frank's report, correct?
Yeah, he just gave me a brief report, mainly just
Okay.
the medical and grocery bus.
All right, so I'm going to ask Lori to go ahead and give Councilman Clement Schew's report on veterans grants, funding, town hall, and seniors. So Lori, if you have some information, would you share it with us, please?
Sure. For the medical bus, the transportation for the seniors, there were 39 for the month of April. He traveled 955.7 miles, 176 hours. For the grocery bus, he had 39 seniors as well, with a total of 109 miles and 14 hours. He noted that appointments are beginning to pick up as the COVID restrictions are being adjusted. All passengers are required to wear their masks while riding on the bus. And that's all that Frank sent me.
Okay, then Lori, we'll go right ahead and move to your regular report on youth, playgrounds, pools, festival, library, visitor center. Go ahead, Lori, if you're ready.
Sure. First of all, I want to just give some kudos out to the highway department. The flowers look very nice on Saratoga Avenue by the cemetery. They've been planting. I've been watching them the past couple days as I drive by. They're very pretty. They're going to look very nice. Our Memorial Day parade this year, due to current circumstances, we're going to modify it. We're going to have just a fire truck and EMS parade following our same route going down through Northside. It'll be on the same day, which will be May 26th. It'll start at 7 p.m. and it'll end up at Soldiers and Sailors Park with a ceremony for the veterans. Frank is organizing the veterans part of it, and he'll have it. It'll be done as a live feed on Facebook. Our pool, we're still in need of a couple of lifeguards. We hope to open by the end of June. We'll not be offering swim lessons again this year due to COVID. Hopefully we'll be able to pick that back up again next year. The library will once again be offering books and some make and take crafts for whatever children come in. Our park, we'll have a park program at Clement Park. We're looking forward to doing that. We didn't have it last year, so we're looking forward to that. We are going to have a soccer field lined up there this summer. That's in the works as well. We've ordered some goals. We are looking for a counselor to fill the position up there. The library is going to have a story walk program up there. So that'll be something that we didn't have last year. That'll be the children up there will have something to look forward to. The news from the library. They are open 6 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 10 to 5, Friday from 10 to 3, and Saturday 10 to 2. The building is open for limited browsing and computer use and book sales, etc. The library will hold its 2022 budget vote and trustee election on Wednesday, June 2nd at the library. Voting will run from 9 to 6 p.m. Absentee ballots will be available upon request beginning on May 15th. The library is planning a summer reading program as well as their story walk installation in both the village and in the town's Clement Park then we'll have more details to come. The school news, all the Board of Education meeting dates can be found on the school website. The PTO auction is May 14th, 15th, and 16th. There's a book fair on May 11th. The budget vote is on May 18th, as well as the Board of Education vote. The junior, senior high school concert is May 25th. Memorial Day weekend for the school starts on May 25th or May 28th. The ending of the sports program, the girls soccer ended up 9-6-1. The boys varsity soccer ended 8-4-2. Golf was 0-7. The girls volleyball ended very well with 12-4. COVID had a huge effect on all of these teams, as we expect. The April monthly report for the visitor center. The 2021 navigation season is underway. The federal lock at Troy opened on Saturday, May 1st. The dock office is prepared to welcome guests. The Erie and Champlain canals will open on Friday, May 21st. Locks E2 through E6 and Guard Gate 2 in the Waterford flight will operate on demand from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. from Thursday through Monday, from May 21st to September 15th. During the same period, the hours of operation for the Waterford flight will be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The farmers market will begin operating 3 weeks earlier than in the past years, with the first day being Sunday, May 16th. It will be held every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. through October. Recruitment is underway for volunteers at the Hearst Harbor Center for 2021 navigation season. 2 and 3 hour shifts are available beginning in early May. For more information, please contact Jeff Cleary at 518-233-9123. And we're still taking applications for a part-time weekend cleaner for the visitor center. And I think I got everything.
Well, that was quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot going on. That time of the year when you're always
It's my time of the year. Yeah, it's my time of the year.
Yep. I've got a couple of items I want to talk about tonight for the supervisor's report. First of all, I want to echo what Lori said. And I don't know if Tony's on the call. There's a couple of phone numbers here. I can never remember which one is associated with Tony, but if he's not on the call, Jim, I hope that you would pass on to him my compliments regarding how great the town looks. I saw guys today down on Saratoga Avenue putting new mulch in on the Gateway project. They've done a great job with all of the intersections and the turnarounds and the circles, cul-de-sacs. They've really done a fine job, and it's earlier in the season, so please pass that on to them. Tony, if you're on here, thank you very much, and please thank your crew as well. Really getting it done this year. Also wanted to take a second to talk about a news announcement today. Some of you may be aware of it, some of you may not be. This afternoon, the Department of Environmental Conservation and Momentum Performance Materials, we had a press release that they issued announcing that a consent order had been agreed to between the Department of Environmental Conservation and Momentum Performance Materials. As part of that consent order, Momentum has agreed to a number of different things. The thing that is there are two items that are important to us. One, they are going to forgive $300,000 of the refund that the school district still has outstanding towards them for the assessment challenge. So that's great news for the school district. And then the second issue that pertains to the town, as part of the consent decree, Momentum will finance up to $1 million in environmental projects. Now that $1 million is yet to be shared between Half Moon and Waterford because part of the plan, a very small part of the plan, is in the town of Half Moon. I would expect that the vast majority of that money would be spent in the town of Waterford. These have to be for environmental projects, environmental benefits. Don't really have a lot of details as to what kind of projects would qualify for that, or how we get approval for the projects, or even who gives us the approval for the project. We have no shortage of projects in mind that would generate a positive environmental impact in the community. But right now, we don't have enough details to really start to really put any specific projects forward. I expect this week and next to have some conversations with the Department of Environmental Conservation and management at Momentum Performance Materials to get more information on that, to determine what kind of projects would qualify for that kind of funding and how we go about getting the approval for them. So very good news that a substantial sum of money will be dedicated to the town of Waterford for environmental projects. Much more to come on that in the weeks and months ahead. I also want to also publicly congratulate Momentum Performance Materials and the Department of Environmental Conservation. This consent decree basically settles a number of environmental failures and violations on the part of Momentum that date back well over 10 years, in some cases 15 years. So basically, in this one settlement, they've been able to finalize all of those outstanding violations, create a benefit for the community, and hopefully turn the page, and Momentum will, and DEC and the town of Waterford will move to a more responsible future for our community in the future. So all good news there, but right now we're lacking a lot of details before we can figure out how best to use that, but it's a wonderful announcement. I also want to make an announcement. I didn't hear any of my council people talk about this. If anybody wants to jump in, please do. Our community gardens project is moving forward. You may recall last fall, we announced that we would move forward an idea that was brought to us by some members of the community asking us to help establish a community garden. The community garden has been located. It'll be behind the new senior community center in the rear of the building, back toward, well, it's not too far back, but in the rear of that building. The highway department has already laid out the design of the garden and started collecting materials for the garden. We'll shortly be publishing articles on the town Facebook and website pages asking for individuals in the community who might be interested in that, in participating in that. It'll be under a volunteer management, and there'll be more details on that, but we're excited to move forward with that. One of the hoped for outcomes will be to generate a harvest that is large enough that we'll be able to donate some produce to the 3 food pantries in the community. That would be great. So more details on that to come as well. And finally, I believe it was last month, well, not a resident, but the daughter of one of our senior community members joined us at this meeting and asked us what our plans were if we were considering reopening the senior center for group activities. That is still somewhat of a problem due to the social distancing requirements, et cetera. However, in the announcements in the last couple of days by the governor that effective May 19th, a lot of these restrictions are going to be either eliminated completely or substantially eased. Councilman McClement and I met with the officers of the Waterford Senior Club. We met with them last week. We had a very good conversation. We are right now, either we have or very shortly will be advertising for a new senior center director. If anybody here knows of people who would be qualified and interested in that job, please be on the lookout for that advertisement. And once the senior director is brought on board, we're going to start, we will work towards establishing a firm opening date. Right now, we're hoping that we can reopen the center on some basis. Again, it'll depend on the COVID regulations that are still in effect, because our number one priority has to remain the health and safety of our citizens, especially our senior population. But we are working towards reopening, and right now, tentatively in June, depending on how quickly, late June, depending on how quickly we can bring on a new director to manage that program. So that's all good news in that regard. Any council people want to add to what I said? I know some of you folks have been involved in some of those projects as well. Anybody want to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to add, Jack, as far as the avenue and the streetscape area over there, I believe the hanging baskets will be put up by the end of the week. So
Oh, that's fantastic, Jim. I'm
That'll be
really
adding to that a
glad to
little
hear
bit.
that.
I don't want to take too much from my next month report. So, I'm
Yeah, don't spill the
going to hold
beans.
back a little bit here.
But you know, those baskets are near to my heart. So as I drove by there today, I was admiring how good it looks, how well it seemed to have gone through the winter. And then I saw the highway crew sprucing it up, putting some mulch down. And I immediately thought to myself, boy, I wonder when the baskets are going to go up. And I wouldn't have asked, but I'm so glad that you answered that question. So thanks.
So they'll be up before Mother's Day.
That's wonderful. Okay, so with that, let's move on to our general orders. Mary Shannon, if you would, please.
Yes. Resolve that the property known as 30 Broad Street, tax ID number 291.71-3-32, be changed for sewer rent purposes from a 2-unit to a 3-unit dwelling as all necessary paperwork has been submitted to the town clerk.
I'll offer it.
Second,
Any discussion? This is a housekeeping type of resolution. There's a sewer rent charge that's assessed to each unit in a building, each separate unit. This building is going from 3 units to 2 units. Mary Shannon has the paperwork to confirm that. So we need to reduce the sewer rent charge appropriately. Mary Shannon, would you call a roll, please?
Councilman Ball,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
yes,
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Whereas the town board has conducted a comprehensive review of the zoning and subdivision revisions to the town code, and whereas the town consultant, Adirondack Engineering, in coordination with the town planning director, the town planning board, and the town zoning board of appeals, has completed their review, and a workshop is currently scheduled for May 13th, 2021, to further review any proposed change or amendments. And whereas the town board desires to hold a public hearing to hear public comments concerning the enactment of a local law to amend the town of Waterford zoning and subdivision revisions in town code, chapters 161 and A 166. And now therefore be resolved that a public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of Waterford on May 27th, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. virtually via Zoom and by teleconference to hear public comment on the proposed local law to amend chapter 161 and A 166 of the town of Waterford code.
I'll offer that.
Second.
Mary Shannon, what is the date of the workshop again?
May 13th.
On May 13th, the workshop will also be a virtual workshop.
Yes.
And the invitation and connection for that will be posted in advance of that meeting on the website. So I know Nick and Carol, you followed this carefully. So we'll be sure to get that website, that Zoom meeting connection information up on the town website. We'll get
Already
that up.
there. It's already
It's
there,
already
Jack.
there? Oh, get better. Thanks, Pat. I didn't know it was there. Wonderful. So, but the workshop is when we will do a lot of discussion. The workshop will be led by our planning director, Dave Wooden, who's with us tonight. So I would encourage people to join that. This is an important piece of legislation. So please take the time to attend if you are so inclined. Call a roll, please.
Councilman Ball,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
Yes,
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Whereas Selco Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless, has advised the town of Waterford concerning its plan to develop small wireless facilities capable of providing 5G capability in various parts of the capital region. And whereas Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, has requested the town of Waterford to enter into a master license agreement in an effort to streamline the process of siting its small wireless facilities within certain rights of way owned and or controlled by the town, and further to set forth certain terms and conditions associated with the siting of said facilities. And whereas the town board, as part of its review process, assembled a task force of community stakeholders to study the subject and to report its findings to the town. And the town, having received and considered the recommendation of the task force, and whereas the town board is desirous of entering into a master license agreement with Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, to permit the deployment of small wireless facilities within the town's public rights of way. Whereas the town board held 2 public hearings to hear comments on the content of the proposed agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to sign the master license agreement with Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon and Wireless, subject to the approval and comments of the attorneys for the town as to form.
Milford,
Second.
I noticed we have several members of the committee that did such a fantastic job reviewing this, researching it, doing due diligence on behalf of the town. I know I've thanked people in the past. I just want to do it again. Thank you very, very much. I wish that we could have a meeting in person where we could recognize all of you more officially, and maybe we can get that done before the end of the year. But I just want to thank everybody involved who participated in this. A really, really good community participation, good volunteer effort, and I think we had a good review and a good recommendation because of it. So thank you.
Councilman Ball,
Oh, yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
yes.
Councilman Marble,
Yes.
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Waterford hereby authorizes a $1,000 bonus for Patrick Breen in recognition of his temporarily assuming additional duties as the town's information technology manager as a result of the recent employee resignation.
I'm going to offer that.
Second.
Reason I said I would offer it is because I've worked pretty close. We've all worked with Pat, but I feel as though myself and Mary Shannon have worked closest with him. Managing the information technology needs for the town of Waterford is no small job. We had 2 people performing that job function on a part-time basis, each of them working 15 hours, and it worked out well because we had people working on our IT very early in the morning before the office was opened. We had people working available on the weekends. With the resignation of one of those individuals, after more than 25 years of service to the town of Waterford, Pat has really stepped up in a big way and been doing the job of 2 people by himself. We've advertised for an information technology manager. We got a number of very interesting and it looks very highly qualified resumes. But until we bring somebody on board, Pat has graciously offered to do more than he was currently being compensated for. I thought when Pat did not ask for this, I want to be very clear about that. I thought it was important to recognize Pat and to compensate him for all the additional work he's done. So that's the reason for it. And again, it's not something that Pat asked for. It's something I just think is fair. Anybody want to add anything to that? Okay. Mayor, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Ball,
I vote yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
Definitely.
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes, and it's important to remember in this day and age, if you think of the town as a business, if the business's operating and computer systems fail to function or stop working, the business is pretty much out of business. And Mary Shannon's office runs on software. The supervisor's office runs on software. The town justices run on software. Every single function, with the possible exception of the highway department, requires on computer technology and software to do the job that we have to do. So having a good IT resource, it's not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity. So this is an important function.
Whereas the town board has received concerns expressed regarding the posted speed limit on Davis Avenue in the town of Waterford. And whereas the town of Waterford has received requests that the speed limit at a portion of Davis Avenue from Van Ness Street to the entrance of the New York State Department of Transportation facility located on Davis Avenue be lowered. And now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Waterford does hereby request the New York State Department of Transportation to initiate a study to determine if the speed limit on Davis Avenue can be reduced.
Milford,
Second.
Councilman Ball,
Yes. Yes.
Woodrow,
yes.
Councilman Marble,
Yes.
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Waterford hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute amendment number 2 associated with the contract with Adirondack Mountain Engineering PC for work being performed on the town zoning and subdivision updates. Amendment number 2 will increase the contract by $2,025. Total contract amount will be $18,985.
Was that 80,000 or 18,000, Mary Shannon? I'm sorry.
18.
18. I'll offer that.
Second,
Councilman Ball,
That's yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
yes.
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Whereas the Waterford Town Board is honored to recognize residents that go above and beyond for their community. And whereas Joseph Forget realized members of the community were struggling during this pandemic. And whereas Joseph Forget has used his talent as a chef to create, organize, and distribute meals to residents of the community, and also operate a free hot dog cart on Halloween. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Waterford hereby recognizes, honors, and thanks Joseph Forget for being a true friend and neighbor to his Waterford community.
I'll offer that.
I'll second that.
I just want to say, Joe Forget is an absolute treasure to this community. Some of us know Joe. Well, I grew up about 7 houses down the street from Joe, so I've known him his whole life. I'm older than he is, so he hasn't known me my whole life, but I've known him his whole life. He's a soccer legend at Waterford Half Moon High. Not quite the legend his brother Danny became, but he was a phenomenal soccer player. He's been a coach. He's done in soccer. He's done all kinds of things to make Waterford a better place to live. And this latest example where Joe, with the support of the Knights of Columbus, Joe prepared and distributed free meals when the COVID situation was at its worst in last year. Gave away, didn't charge anything, gave away hundreds of hot meals to people on several successive evenings from the KFC. We're blessed. Waterford is blessed to have people like Joe Forget in our community. And we thought it was a good idea to honor Joe and to make sure he knows how much he's appreciated, although he doesn't do it for the honor.
Councilman Ball,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
Yes.
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Whereas the Waterford Town Board is honored to recognize organizations that give back to their community. And whereas the Waterford Knights of Columbus Council 237 worked with Joseph Forget to organize and distribute meals to residents of the Waterford community struggling during the pandemic, even when their own organization was forced to temporarily close their doors during this pandemic. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Waterford hereby recognizes and honors the Waterford Knights of Columbus Council 237 for their efforts to support the needs of residents in the Waterford community.
Offered.
I'll offer that.
Second it.
Councilman Ball?
Yeah.
Councilman Boudreau?
Yes.
Councilman Marble?
Yes.
Supervisor Lawler?
Yes. And our thanks to the Knights of Columbus. Without their support, opening up their facility for Joe to use to prepare those meals and distribute those meals from the Knights of Columbus building. Obviously, Joe could not have done the many good things that he did to help people when things were at their worst. So our thanks also, of course, to Joe Kramer and the Waterford Knights of Columbus. Does any member of the board have any other business they want to bring forward tonight?
Nope.
No? Okay, then at this time, as we always do, we will open up the floor to any,
Jack, I think Dave had something.
I'm sorry, Dave, you had something?
Yeah, Supervisor, if you would invite Paul McInerney to mention the vaccination clinic, which is going to be conducted Thursday.
Thanks, Dave. My apologies. You mentioned you wanted to do that in the beginning of the meeting. Paul, I know you're on the line. Why don't you tell us, give us an update on the vaccination efforts here in Waterford?
We're going to do a vaccination on Thursday. We definitely have 5 people right now, possibly 10, and our list will be complete. And we're hoping to get some more. And if we do get some more, I'm hoping to get more. I want them to call 518-590-0932. That's 518-590-0932. And just leave a message. I'll call you back and we'll schedule you on the list.
Paul, when you say get some more, you mean some more vaccine?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
just-
doing it. We're back doing it Johnson & Johnson again.
Just to be clear. And Paul, how many people have we vaccinated here in Waterford? And these are primarily seniors, people with health issues, serious health issues, and our homebound population. How many have we done, Paul?
A total of 150 so far.
Great. That's good. Very, very, very grateful to the Waterford Rescue Squad. They're the folks who've been assisting with this. And between Paul and the Waterford Rescue Squad and Dave Ball's involvement, that's a program that has been very, very helpful for people who otherwise would have had a very difficult time getting vaccinations. So thank you guys for your hard work on that.
No problem. Pleasure.
Supervisor, we also have 2 resolutions under other business.
All right, go right ahead, Mayor.
First one is budget amendments. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Waterford hereby approves the following budget amendments to the town's 2021 budget. Account A 3510.200, control of dogs, equipment and capital outlay, approved budget 0, proposed increase $26,000. Account A 0599, appropriated fund balance, approved budget $299,750. Proposed increase $26,000. Account B 3620.200, safety inspection equipment and capital outlay, approved budget 0, proposed increase $26,000. And account B 0599, appropriated fund balance, approved budget $154,330, proposed increase $26,000.
So what we're doing here is we are taking $26,000 from our surplus in the general fund to buy a new light truck for the animal control officer. Dave, how old is that truck that he's using now?
I think it's a early vintage 90 Ford Ranger.
Yeah, about 20 years old. We
Yeah.
certainly got our money's worth out of that. I think that truck was actually donated to the animal control officer when the highway department decided they couldn't use it anymore.
Right.
The truck is no longer safe to use, so we need to definitely get a new truck. The second $26,000 is taking from what's called the B Fund Reserve, and that'll be used to buy an identical truck, another small light truck, for the town building inspector, Ben Aiken. And I see Ben is with us tonight. Ben, unmute your mic there for a second, okay? Ben has graciously been using his personal vehicle as he does his job as the town building inspector. Ben, would you tell us a little bit about the truck that you can't use?
The first time that I actually took it out, after I started working for the town, I went up Fonda Road, and it actually scared me a little bit, which I've driven some vehicles that are pretty well abused, but at about 45 miles an hour, I hit a section of potholes, and the truck actually washboard and sort of swayed around a little bit. It's been through its paces. The whole suspension's blown right out of it.
How many miles are on that truck, Ben? Do you know?
I want to say, what was the 140,000?
140,000? Yeah,
47.
147,000? Yeah.
So it's definitely served its purpose as a vehicle, by all rights. It's for the people that have driven it. I know there's a couple people on here that have driven it. It's an interesting vehicle.
Well, we're gonna get you something new, and I only wanted you and Dave to comment. You know, we're not a town board that spends money needlessly or on a whim or just to buy nice new things. Both of these trucks have over 100, well, in Ben's case, 147,000 miles. I'm going to guess the trucks are both 20 years old, and we need to keep our employees safe, and we need to also give them the tools they need to do the job they're doing. Both of these guys are doing a great job. So I just wanted to give a little background about that before we take the vote. So Mary, you want to call that, please?
Need someone to offer?
I'll
I'll
offer
offer
it.
that.
Second,
Councilman Ball,
yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Jim, you're muted.
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
Yes,
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Waterford hereby awards 1379 OGS solicitation 23166:6999 to Kingston Automotive LLC for the purchase of two 2021 Nissan Frontier S King Cab pickup trucks with bedliner and cab. Bid price $25,852.82 per pickup truck. One of these new vehicles will replace the pickup currently assigned to the town's animal control officer, which is a 2006 Ford Ranger with 178,143 miles. The other new vehicle will replace the pickup currently assigned to the town's building inspector, a 2004 Chevy Colorado with 147,700 miles.
Did you say that car, the first truck, had 178? Was that, did I hear that right?
178,143 miles.
Boy, they don't make them like that anymore. That's a lot of miles. So the first resolution, the one we just voted on, what that did is it moved the money from the surplus accounts into the budget. So now that the money is in the budget, this next vote is to go ahead and buy the two trucks. The trucks are both being bought under state contract. As long as we buy trucks. So what happens is the state goes out and establishes a price on a statewide basis. It's called the state contract. And so any municipality can buy those vehicles or that equipment that is part of the state contract. We can do that and we don't have to go to bid because the assumption is that the buying power of the state of New York has given us the very best price. Which makes sense. We're buying these two new pickup trucks for $26,000 each. That sounds like a very reasonable deal for us. So the first resolution was to move the money into the budget, and this resolution is to spend the money on the two trucks.
Offered.
second,
Councilman Ball,
Any other discussion? Sorry, Mary. Any other discussion?
I have to say, Jack, that I was pricing those vehicles out myself. And that price that we got was exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
State bid is usually a great price. We buy our police cars, we buy our highway equipment, everything we do, if we can possibly do it, we do it on a state bid. Go ahead, Mayor, call the roll, will you?
Councilman Ball,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreau,
Yes.
Councilman Marble,
yes,
Supervisor Lawler.
Yes. Mayor Shannon, do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay, does any member of the board want to bring anything forward? Mr. Boyajian, you're muted. Just shake your head if there's a no. Oh, you're unmuted now. Do you have anything you need to bring
All
forward?
set,
tonight?
Jack. No, all
Okay.
set, thanks.
All right, great. At this time, then we'll do what we always, Jeff, did you raise your hand? It's hard for me to tell. You're like a magician there, zipping in and out of the picture. Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to do what we always do, which was unmute the microphones. Anybody is free to please ask any questions, make any comments. Well, this is public participation time. Feel free to unmute your microphones yourselves. No questions? And Pat, they can unmute?
Yes,
Okay, just want to make sure that we're not keeping
yeah,
them.
I also click on them to ask them to unmute and nobody unmuted.
Okay,
I did.
okay,
Who's that?
Paul,
Oh, okay.
okay. Thank you, Paul. Yes, Paul unmuted. All right, well, if there's no comments or questions this evening, that's fine. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Remove.
Make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned. I thank you all for coming tonight. Please stay safe. Don't do anything that could expose you to the virus. Let's pray for some drier weather pretty soon. This rain is getting kind of monotonous. Everybody have a good week, and I hope to see you all back here next month. Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.